Hi, I'm Sam Amolo. Welcome to my shop. This is where I hang out with my friends, work on my cars. I got my '39 Chevy here. I got a 472 Cadillac big block motor with a transmission, but I also want to show you some equipment. I've got a great engine stand we need to look at. You know, having an engine stand is a great way to go, but it takes up a lot of room in the shop. Not this one. This is the Easy Run engine stand. It's compact, folds up, store it out of the way. This thing is super high quality. Let me show you how easy this thing goes together. In a few minutes, you got this thing ready to rock and roll. Here's the battery tray. Mine mounts right back here. That's where I like it. You got a Ford solenoid. This thing is all wired. All the wires are tagged, fused, relayed. Everything's great. And this is universal. It can go any way you want. If you want the side of the chassis, left or right side. I'm going to use it back here in this application. Now you can see the welds on this thing are incredible. Great welds. The powder coating is exquisite. Now this is a rear cross member. Again, it's adjustable. Put it anywhere you want. Has these two brackets. If you're using an engine with a bell housing, this bolts onto the bell housing where the transmission bolts would go. Again, offers tremendous flexibility. What I'm using is this T-bracket that goes in here. Put it down there. This is for a transmission adapter. I'm going to have the 472 Cadillac and the long shaft Turbo 400 sits right on there. And of course, everything here is adjustable. One wrench is all you need. 9/16. All the nuts are captured. Now here's our front engine cross member. If you look at this, you loosen this up. These uprights will go back and forth. Pull a pin like this, up and down. And of course you can compensate for everything you want with the mounts and so on to get your float level right, all those things. And again, this whole cross member moves forward and backwards, so it's totally adjustable. Now the next thing we've got is mounting the fuel system. You have a fuel tank tray that can go inside or outside. I put it on inside on this. We have our little fuel tank with a feed and return line, mounts right there. There's nothing to it. Now also, there are a few accessories. I got the 8-inch casters on this thing. Now the 8-inch casters, they're polyurethane, greasable axles. You can roll it all around easily, even with the weight on it, and you're gonna see a lot of weight on this. And of course, I could crawl underneath this on a creeper. If I had to do an oil pan removal and work on the engine while it's on the stand, easy to do. And of course, the length of this chassis is real long, so your cherry picker rolls right under it. Here's an accessory stand. Again, goes on here with one bolt to clamp it. It's got a little bracket here for a remote oil filter, electric fuel pump, whatever you want to use it for. Place for your timing light. Got a little tray. Come out your MSD box, so you can put your ECU if you've got an injected engine. Think about just about everything on this. I also got the cooling system package. Let me get the radiator. Okay, the radiator support uprights plug right in here, fully adjustable up and down. And again, one wrench, 9/16. You tighten it all up. We'll pull this off. Now the radiator, we've got real high quality, heavy duty aluminum radiator with 1-inch tubes. And you can see it's got a fully shrouded cool fan, straight blade fan. It's got 4 outlets. No matter what the configuration of your engine is, you're gonna be able to hook it up. It sits right in here like that, on like a core support. You can see we've got a ball valve with a drain, so we can drain the coolant. When we go to take the engine off the stand, it's a great way to go. This goes on like so. Set this right here. And again, it's fully adjustable. You clamp your radiator like this, acts like a core support. Tighten this up, and again, it's adjustable up and down, so you can get the radiator where you want it, higher than the block. Make sure you don't have any air pockets. And then of course, the electric cool fan comes with a pigtail on it. Chassis is all wired, it's marked. Electric fan, you plug this in, you're all done. Also got a nice little tool tray that's an option. Sits right in here, and you're all set to go. You know, when you're working by yourself, sometimes you have to get a little ingenious. I want to keep this thing turned right. This is a 472 cubic inch Cadillac engine. A friend of mine rebuilt it 20 years ago. It's been on a stand. It hasn't run since. It's never been fired, so we're going to figure it out. That's 630 pounds, not counting this long shaft Turbo 400 transmission. So make sure you get a good shop crane, nice chain, get it on there right. I'm going to position this so the oil pan sits right here on this transmission adapter. And by the way, we got over 700 pounds here. Piece of cake for the Easy Run engine stand. You can see how easily the shop crane rolls right underneath it. Just watch what you're doing, be careful. Take your time. Now I'll go ahead and I'll set this down. May have to give myself a little slack here. We'll bring it down on the pad. Here's the dashboard you get. It's complete. Got a tachometer, your basic gauges, switches. It's wired. All you do is reach down and plug it into the harness. You know, a lot of stands you buy, if there's any gauges at all, they're not usually wired, so it's a big deal. When you turn it on, of course, the gauges illuminate. And then as you flip on each switch, something like that, the switch lights up. Then we got a switch for coil power, fuel pump, if you run an electric fuel pump. I'm going to show you what we're going to use that for on this engine. Then you got your cool fan. Now this is a vacuum gauge. I'm old school. I added that. Doesn't come with it. I hope Al and Andy don't mind me changing a few things around, but this will tell you more about an engine in a minute than most gauges. So I like a vacuum gauge. This is the beauty of this thing. You can add or subtract whatever you want. Let me tell you about this 472 cubic inch Cadillac engine. I wanted to get a big block, a real massive engine, to show you the capacity of the Easy Run stand. Now, you know, anybody can build a stand that'll hold a small block Chevy or Ford, but you can see here we got a 630-pound engine, big transmission on it. It adapts real easily. And of course, where this engine came from, when I started searching for an engine, a friend of mine had rebuilt this engine 20 years ago. Frank's been working on this car for a long time. It's never been cranked, been on an engine stand. It's his first time building an engine. Everything was done right according to the manual, with a lot of new old stock parts, because over the past 15 years, 20 years, he's been buying the parts. So it's all GM parts, everything's new in it, camshaft and everything. You know, when Frank rebuilt this engine, like I said, 20 years ago, he was able to buy all kinds of parts. Original, Delco, distributor cap. He got several sets of these R44 CXLS plugs, which aren't even available anymore. Even the exhaust manifolds. We had original equipment bolts. This is all new old stock. Well, guys, you know, that stuff is really dried up. Now, you can beat yourself to death going to swap meets and trying to find this stuff, but you can go to Egge Machine, make their own pistons. You can get complete rotating assemblies for a flathead Ford V8. They got gaskets. They've been in business for a long time. When you're restoring an engine, Egge Machine's a great place to get your parts. All I gotta do now is hook up an exhaust system, crank this thing through, make sure we pick up fuel. We're ready to light this baby off. Hooking up the Easy Run stand to make it fire. One wire is coil power. This is going to go from the switch wire going to the coil, or the plus side. The Cadillac had a resistor wire, so I mounted a ceramic resistor on here for this coil. The other wire comes from the panel. That's your tack feed. Now, everything's checked. I'm ready to fire it up. What I'm going to do is turn on the master power switch. I'm going to crank it before I turn on coil power and make sure I get oil pressure again. There we go. Got good cranking vacuum, got good oil pressure, a little bit of fuel. Now the moment in truth. Hit the switch, and here we go. Now I want to run this thing for 5 minutes at 1800 RPM steady, break in the cam, check it for oil leaks, water leaks, then I can check the timing, dial in the carburetor. This thing will be ready to go in the car. You know, I've had a blast doing this, and I've accomplished a lot. And the best part about the Easy Run engine stand, it's made in America by Americans. Father and son team, Al and Andy, and when you pick up the phone and call for tech support, that's who you're talking to. They know every nut and bolt. They build and design these things right in the United States. That means a lot to me. And, you know, I have a lot of fun with this thing. What I do in my shop, besides putting guys' engines on and running them, or engines I build myself, sometimes I do technical training here. We set an engine up, we'll bug it, let guys try to figure out what's going on. This is a great product for clubs, for vocational schools, for teaching, for doing stuff at a swap meet or a car show where you want to sell an engine for raffles. Easy Run engine stands are a great investment. I appreciate you watching.